This is the EGC 20k Age of Empires 4 tournament. The semi-finals are on, only 4 generals still standing, and a conflict continues. Place à la France. Yes, we have arrived at the mandatory match. The third match between our 2 commanders today on the vast map of Boulder Bay. In the blue 2-2, it's Vortix to Daru. They are leading the France. Well, maybe not leading, but pointing them in the general direction. Then if we cross the pond, they are red. They are not dead. They are TheMista, who will be the team manager for also France. I don't know about you, but I've got my blanket for this one, just in case I need a little nap. The very same blanket that offered me comfort during the Tomb Raider times. It was a really scary game. The underwater levels, the dinosaurs chasing you, the butler in the mansion who groaned like a zombie and always knew where you were. The only thing to fear here today, though, is the Hulks. The big, mean French sea vessels that will no doubt be fighting over who controls all of the ocean beef. It is said that whoever owns the ocean will celebrate with some fizzy ocean beef wine. For those of you who are just joining us, where have you been? We've got every single match from the final 16 players of the first ever Age of Empires 4 tournament here on this channel, the Ironcast channel. Docs already up. Preparations for fishing for the next 5 to 10 minutes begin. Ooh, this blanket is very snuggly. France has been a dominant and desirable pick for Boulder Bay because of their water style superiority. Nobody wants to be caught in a matchup against France on these water maps. However, there has been success against France. Now, just to reiterate the rules, you cannot play the same civilization that you have won as before, which is why players hold out until this map is on to bring on the France. France's demise on this map stems from an overinvestment in water and a lack of preparedness on land. As soon as commander sees they've lost control of the water, they make arrangements to gather more from the land, a second or third town center, massing up production buildings to send an army out to take the initiative. It's almost like being freed of the dependence of what the waters has to offer. A scout belonging to Vortix snooping around, and you can see that the land does have a lot to offer. Both sides have 3 gold mines and a lot of woodland. There's only one way to enter by land. The other way you can arrive is by boat. And I've not seen much use of the transport ships yet. TheMista doing some deep sea fishing. These fishing spots have a faster yield rate. Got to be careful of these foggy spots here. A great place to hide your boats and get that combat initiative check. The Hulks that fire first and in greater numbers will have the advantage. Vortix's deep sea fishing spot is closer. That's lucky. The less time spent sailing between the fishing spots and the docks, the better. For now, it's just going to be getting wood, getting fishing, getting feudal age. Whilst we wait for that to happen, this scout will perhaps harass this poor dock worker. An obligatory shout out to the Elite Gaming channel, the EGC. They are the hosts of this fantastic tournament. The whole concept of the tournament was to give players as little time as possible to formulate strategies. Literally a once-in-a-game's lifetime opportunity to do so. I sure hope I do it some credit. You can check out the EGC's Discord for news and discussions. They have plans for weekly events. The information will be provided in the video description somewhere. You'll also find some information about Ironcast if you aren't a pro player but you would like to get involved in some fun events or are just interested in seeing some cool Age of Empires 4 games played out, then do come along. We are looking for players to participate in a long total war-like campaign, something of a grand production, so we need generals for that. And on top of that, we'll have lots of one-off games, such as a team class-based mode. If that sounds interesting or you have no idea what that is and what I mean, you should pop in and take a look. There are so many boats out here now. The feudal age will arrive shortly. This is where both commanders want to have some wood and gold at the ready, as well as a clear space on the docks to immediately begin assembling their first hulks. It will be possible to get both docks queued up for the hulks shortly after. The Chamber of Commerce has been constructed for both commanders today. This is highly irregular, but honestly, I believe this building to offer much more value on Baldur's Bay to the winner of the waters, at least. It's one thing to have the building, it's another to actually make use of it. The Chamber of Commerce increases your gains from traders. If you've prevented your opponent from building ships, then you have unrestricted access to that neutral dark market. You'll gain not just gold, but wood from trading there too. But if you don't build traders, then you don't reap rewards. It's as simple as that. And it's happened. Ship ready. A little quote from Anno 1404, the best of the Annos. Vortix rallied their hulk to the Mister's docks, where there will be a hulk waiting to shoot back. Somewhere. Not from this dock, but probably this one. Yeah, there we are. I was really worried for a moment then. Vortix sailing in from the east. They'll probably get a fishing vessel here. Vision is, of course, a problem in the sea, not just on the land. As these ships engage, the Mister's second hulk will be able to back this first one up. But Vortix has had their fill of sinking fishing vessels. One is enough for them. Should be easy to maintain a defense. But as time passes on, both commanders will dip into deeper waters to try and outdo each other. We're at double dock production. Bit of a dock pun there. Lovely! The Mister using the mist. It's like an origin story for them. The Mister from the hidden mist will ambush Vortix's hulk. Vortix would have to charter through the Mister's hulk, so depending on how this is microed, Vortix could lose a ship. Vortix opts to take out the fishing boat instead, and the Mister isn't swiveling enough. So Vortix will sail away. Now, this is a very bold scout with an idea of their own. I take issues with this. I don't think a scout can kill a dog fast enough. But oh boy, can they entice 3 hulks to fill them full of ballista bolts. I don't think killing the sheep was necessary. Now we're starting to bulk up these hulks. The next engagement should be more like an exhibition match. The Mister still maintaining a defensive posture. Strategically speaking, this could give him an edge. If Vortix has to sail into a fight, when an extra 1 or 2 hulks pop out of the Mister's docks, that could be a win. Then all the Mister would have to do is launch an offense, knowing full well that they have a numerical advantage. For the viewers background watching whilst they work, study, or create, a boaty battle will begin. 4 blue hulks to 5 red hulks. The Mister lines up to protect their fishing vessels. I'm gonna say it, boat battles rather like darts. Vortix has got 5s. A lot of slop in these ton 80s. Just went straight in. But I'm calling double bull. Vortix busted. That's tough darts. Pulled the cork there, they did. The ship captains will go back home, get a good meal in them, mourn the loss of their comrade, but most importantly, get some urgent repairs, ready to do this all over again, and again, and oh, blimey, again. TheMista seems pleased with these results. They've also got a dock to the east, the third one, now producing fishing boats close to another deep sea fishing spot. So they are still comfortable in investing in the waters. And they are also walling up the land just in case of any ideas of incursion Vortix may have. Not right now, but let's say the 15-minute mark. I think even if the bay has not been definitively claimed by then, the 15-minute mark is a good timestamp for putting resources to land-based military assets. They even got themselves a boar that they could go ahead and grab within the walls. No one will consider Castle Age for now, if that was something you were wondering about. Vortix sailing out again. Always the aggressor, never the bridesmaid. TheMista will have a welcoming party for them. The fishing vessel's exposed. This welcome party is drunk and ill-prepared. Shots fired, ships sunk. Watch these hungry, hungry hippos spin to win. The ship's pulling some serious watery G's. Everyone disengages and vomits. Is Vortix satisfied with taking one Hulk from TheMista at the cost of one of their own? Things remaining relatively equal. We're approaching 100 population points. Remember, Hulks don't cost one population cap. They take up 4 slots. You got the captain, navigator, gunner, and the gunner's friend. Ooh, what do we have here? Excitement! A transport ship with 10 archers inside. I see TheMista's ordered a second town center too, but let's keep our eyes here. I'll find the third dock. And TheMista's Red Hawks are coming over. The invasion could end before it begins. Get out! Disembark! Move, move, move into the trees! The element of surprise has been lost. Where do they go from here? Oh, a battering ram. Yeah, that'll be really annoying to deal with. And to add to this, Vortix will try and pressure the docks at the same time with their Hulks. A test of TheMista's multitasking abilities. Never mind, Vortix backed off. Panic for TheMista. Gotta get some military production buildings up and running. Triple chocolate chip stables. A sound choice for dealing with a few archers and a battering ram. I don't think Vortix has any real target in mind. This is just to sow chaos, a serving of distraction. For TheMista to have to deal with this could cause them to falter at sea. 2 battering rams now. Vortix means business. They want to pick a target TheMista cares about. Chamber of Commerce, not really doing anything right now. Even a house would be better. Ooh, they've found that second town center. The doubling up of damage means TheMista won't have too much time to respond. The good news is that France can get heavy cavalry out in the feudal age. The archers won't stand a chance, but can they get the battering rams in time? I don't think so. With so few units, they'll need villager assistance. Pulling workers off to try and hit those battering rams, but the damage is too much. The town center burns. The town center is gone. Whoa, we're pulling all of the villagers to deal with this. This is gonna harm the economy. Meanwhile, look at what Vortix has done. Oh, Vortix, what have you done? That was amazing. For the cost of 1 transport ship, 10 archers, 2 battering rams. They created a throwable, awayable squad that served as a distraction whilst Vortix microed their ships for utter devastation. So, just before the 15-minute mark, Vortix has a completely open channel to the resources in the ocean. But I have to ask, I really have to ask this, will we see any goddamn mother trucking bleeding heck of trade ships? Because I have been waiting for a very long time. A trade route from here would net so much gold and wood. The scene is perfect. You have totalitarian levels of control over that neutral dock. 100% safety guaranteed. We'll see what happens. But I will once again be genuinely disappointed if I don't see at least 1 trade ship. Vortix, in the meantime, wrapping things up as expected. The docks destroyed and all the buildings along the coast will now take some Hulk fire. Castle Age has been reached for TheMista. Vortix trailing slightly behind. TheMista sending the Knights of the Square Table, the heroes which defeated the Archer Bandits. Vortix does not even have a wall up yet. It's bad news, but how much damage can 4 Knights truly do? Vortix has assembled a garrison quickly. Spears are ready, archers are ready. And you can see the resource switch for TheMista. No longer interested in wood. Vortix still has many villagers on wood. TheMista, I think, looking to secure the land marketplace and get use out of that Chamber of Commerce. This pleases me greatly, but can they really do it? We'll find out. A 3rd town center next to some gold, and their palisade wall is looking mighty fine with a gate on it. Both commanders went for the Guild Hall, another economic building which stores resources over time. The longer you store it, the faster it generates that resource that you have chosen to store. It's like a savings account, except it was much easier to save money 40 years ago, where you could buy education, a house, a car, all on part-time job money, with time left over to raise the loving family. And then when you're ready, you can take the resource out of your guild hall and it resets back to 0. So the longer you wait, the bigger the payout. Sad day for TheMista, losing all their buildings near the water. Perhaps future considerations would be to not build near the coastline for fear of this eventuality. Is Vortix going to use transport ships again? It appears that way. 3 ships. More ships than are needed. It doesn't seem like a lot of units, but once they land on the other side, they'll probably rack up some battering rams again. Get your sea shanties singing. Reminds me that I never got around to ever playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag or Sea of Thieves. So many games I'm missing out on because my computer, I don't know why or what it is, it only installs RTS games. I think it must be something to do with the computer's DNA. I don't know, I'm not a Scientologist, but if anyone knows how to fix that, send me a fax or a comment. Yeah, this is nice. It's nice to see disembarking. I hope in the future someone does to scale ships. I dream of the RTS game where you can see units actually properly getting in and out of transports, like 100% properly animated, and you can see them actually inside as they're being transported. 6 more units show up, but I think Vortix has forgotten to upload them. We can see where all that extra wood is going. It's gone into battering rams. The Hulks watch over the coast. Does TheMista know about this? They've made a keep here. That's great. But what's to stop the battering rams from smashing a town center? They're gonna need some units with torches. There are red knights just behind the town center. The castle will be excellent against both spears and archers. 4 battering rams advance. There isn't much room to maneuver, though. Is that a problem for the rams or a problem for the knights? This choke point is great for spears. The rams get into position. Well, what are the rams doing? Do they want the keep instead? They're going for the keep? Yeah! The spears try and fight the knights, but I don't think they can hold on long enough. They will still put their bodies in front of the archers and the battering rams. They fall quickly. Vortix does have hulks back at the coast for fire support, and they're going to use that. That outpost near the town center sounds like it's equipped with a ballista, which is handy. The battering rams moving an awful lot. I can't tell if it's indecisiveness or accidental control. We've got reinforcements arriving and a new battering ram to replace the old one. Reinforcements have arrived. My favorite Command and Conquer line. It's very difficult for the TheMista here. They can't step too far forward because those hulks on Overwatch are death. The spears working on a new battering ram to replace the old one. The knights managed to move in and collect a few archers. The town center is burning. How many more hits can it take? Villagers keeping it alive. The archers protecting the knights. Can the battering ram finish this off? Another battering ram is completed. Another battering ram is ordered. Oh, double tap finishes off the town center. This is huge. I don't think we've seen the starting town center collapse without the white flag going up. The TheMista is still in the game, though. They've got plenty of other town centers. I get it. This looks dire. Their economy is still kicking, though. This area was abandoned once those hulks beached themselves. That's Vortix's area of control now, and it makes sense that anything in or surrounding it will be destroyed. So many more units have landed. Does the TheMista have what it takes to repel the next phase of this assault? And it's not just the offensive army that has been replenished. So have the battering rams. There could be 5 in total. The farm is on fire. And it's so loud, too. The summoning ritual near its completion, and the ballista from the tower sniping some spears as they do so. Now, looks like it's time for the charge across the hot, scorching fire. My toes! Fighting under the keep, under the outpost. The few red knights cannot withstand the hordes of spears. The archers have got work to do. The outpost will fall quickly to a battering ram, even with upgraded stone walls. Vortix has focused down the opposing archers. There is little left of the TheMista's defensive forces. The villagers aren't startled one bit. Farm life continues, and the keep seemingly holding. What a good buy this was, and I think the TheMista has, on a technicality, repelled this attack. We'll have to go for a round 3. 3rd time's the charm. Catching up, what are Vortix's economy? A knight attacking the wall. What about their trade? Is there any trade? There is no trade. I am angry. So I'm going to do what any angry British person would do. I'm going to write a letter to my MP and drink some tea. Ooh, it's still a little hot. That just made me angrier. The battering rams continue. The TheMista has gathered lots of food. I think they're trying to hold out for the Imperial Age. They've almost got 100 villagers working. That's impressive, considering that they've been assaulted for the last 5 minutes plus. They've got a mangonel out on the field. That's a huge hit on those archers. We're seeing swords and shields arrive for Vortix, a much better offensive unit. I hope they've learned their lesson about the mangonel. It's a dangerous choke to stand in. It's another hit. Villagers being pulled off from work to destroy the battering rams and save the keep. If this keep falls, so may Mister's hopes and dreams. There's also a few crossbows out for Vortix. The Arbaletrière is a fantastic French uni crossbow unit. We rarely get a chance to see them. The TheMista is packing money. The Imperial Age will be on its way for both commanders. Now Vortix will go the College of Artillery. Siege units from here will do 20% more damage. The TheMista, however, is going for the Red Palace. It's basically another keep, but better. Still no trade ships, just some soldiers awaiting transportation. Now, I can't accurately portray how much better the Red Palace is compared to an ordinary keep. I've never seen one tested in a live match whilst it is fully occupied, because it needs to be fully occupied to fire at full strength. I would dare say, though, that a College of Artillery might have also been a viable defensive building, given the TheMista's situation here. A Red Palace is not going to stand up against an Imperial Age siege technology from France. Not a Royal Cannon from the College of Artillery. It's just going to get outranged and destroyed without firing a single shot in defense. Vortix's city, untouched by war, looks so peaceful. There's the College of Artillery, where bombards go to study to become cannons, taught by Professor 30-Pounder. These soldiers seem way too happy about killing a single villager. Yeah, we did it! We're strong. We manage. We make win. Yeah! I'm not sure why collectively they almost sound like Smeagol. The TheMista building up in this corner here. This could be the first sign of an attack of their own, laying the groundwork for a staging site. And Vortix doesn't know about it yet. But I think they will soon as villagers stumble across the knights. Getting these production facilities in place, this could... Well, actually, thinking about it, this could be really good. Short reinforcement times. The only thing lacking, though, is something to destroy the buildings. If they don't have the siege weapons to demolish the buildings, then they're just going to be stuck fighting soldiers for a long time. Which I suppose isn't a bad thing, considering Vortix has not invested into trading yet. And even though they have unrestricted ocean access, it's not like fish are infinite. Those fishing boats will have to move further and further out, which may end up being less efficient than just farming. Vortix could get all their gold and wood from trade ships and then villagers on food. The TheMista holding their knights. Are they ready for the combat? Yeah, no, they're not. Retreating back to the keep, staying safe. They've also got some men-at-arms in the mix. Just 3 for now. But I do think men-at-arms and crossbows are going to be very important. TheMista is doing very well for resources, better than Vortix. These hulks here, each one eating up 4 population. And Vortix is population capped. That's like 20 field units right there. Blue cavalry movement in the west. I think they missed the mangonel. The vision rather poor. They could have slipped by. In any case, the knights will find some villagers to sack. The mangonel probably should not be fighting by itself. It rolls towards the gate. Can it get through? The answer is yes, with relative ease. The men-at-arms made it into the corner. Not much this squad can accomplish alone. They've really got to get some support weaponry. More knights riding past the corner base to the main ship stuff happening. Oh! Was it a demo ship that sunk this? There's another one here. It could go for some big fishing damage. A hulk will wreck one of these. And one was waiting. Meanwhile, TheMista defends their palisade wall. Blue knights just thrown into the fire. TheMista, well, they can stop that, but they can't stop these hulks doing their part. You need some kind of gun-powered iron-launching contraption to hold that. 3 knights harassing gold miners. Vortix has found TheMista's army. This is good information acquisition. There's a lot of archers, and I'm not sure why. Is TheMista expecting lots of spears further down the line? Oh, and a Rebuilder-Quinn, aka the Gatling Cannon. I've seen this once, maybe twice before in the EGC. What's going on here? All these knights are in the Hulk firing line. Chasing a few blue knights, I think. Did they get lured in front of all that? Truly heroic stuff. I notice Vortix is promoting for some more stone miners. Maybe they want to amass a load of keeps. Not necessarily for defense. They could be looking to place them offensively too. Big battle in the northwest. The men-at-arms and royal knights for TheMista doing the heavy lifting as the arrows mostly deflect off the armor. Regardless, TheMista outnumbers them and destroyed their cannon. TheMista's assault force looking strong. Rebuilder-Quinn, operated by Joan of Arc. That's right, not many people know that she had a Gatling cannon, a lesser-known depiction, but I assure you, she was a medieval Gundam. Vortix's defense looks lackluster. We saw 5 hulks earlier. Is the population cap a problem for Vortix? Another cannon just roaming around the outside of the walls. The only things you can truly do is scuttle those ships, Vortix. They're consuming too much oxygen supply. We need 20 more souls holding the border. The archers are getting surrounded by knights. The Rebuilder-Quinn lines up, fires. Feels like it barely does damage. It's more ideal for hitting lots of units at short range rather than individual ones. Difficult to make useful. Defensive keep was built during this battle. It's on the edge of the map. Should be easy to avoid. The cannon was still out there. And TheMista pulled back, destroyed it, and is regrouping whilst Vortix is harassing villagers. Still noting that TheMista has very little siege engines. Well, not little, very few siege engines. A tiny trebuchet would not only be adorable, but a vast improvement over TheMista's building destructive capabilities right now. That's a lot of stables. TheMista has many more archers that they've reinforced with, and I'm running it through my head. The tactical and strategical reasons for all these archers, and the only conclusion I can come to is that TheMista does not want to use gold for crossbows, but wants to bulk up the size of their force, like a filler unit. Crossbows would outright just overall be more efficient here. Their siege capability is mostly torch damage, which is slow. Maybe TheMista wants to try and starve Vortix, focusing on key economic locations of their city, which would be entirely redundant if Vortix swapped villagers out for untouchable trade ships. Yes, castle on the coast. Trying to stop these individual knights from galloping by. A knight that has the endurance to tank a few shots. TheMista is scouting, quite possibly for a target for their army, which is waiting outside. They've almost reached the population cap, just 20 more. Could that be the condition that triggers the start of the next offense? How have we arrived here? Why is it the player who conquers the waters ends up looking weak later on? Well, I think I've covered that plenty already. However, if you're thinking Vortix is doomed, don't be so sure. TheMista has only inflicted superfluous damage thus far. They've not really landed a blow. They've defended and blocked and parried and dodged, but when it comes to punching, they've at most hit a glancing blow. 2 cannons for TheMista. Now we're getting serious. So we're going to take the obvious route, destroy everything and anything until there's nothing left except a white flag. So maybe they were considering surgical strikes before, maybe they were not, but now TheMista is telling us loud and clear their intentions are to war. Properly this time. No more dilly-dallying around trying to be smart, just brute force, big army, storm gate, triple cannon. I think we've hit a record. This is the largest army ever assembled in the EGC so far. Perhaps there has been bigger, but never in one place. All they gotta do is just protect these cannons. That's it. Vortix has a lot of heavy cavalry, exclusively Royal Knights. It nullifies those archers TheMista has, and it's more than enough knights to reach the cannons. It's a matter of how will TheMista can tactfully protect them, which they're not very protected at the front. Also notice these outposts creeping up. You can upgrade these with cannons without costing population, and the vision is also nice. Now I propose the line formation in front of these cannons. It's a classic, it's a favorite, but probably not the best for this narrow gap they must get through. Vortix is charging. Here it comes, the ringing of steel, creating a melodic soundscape of death, overshadowed by the unsummoning of the palisade wall. A second backup regiment flows through and encircles TheMista's forces. They, however, form a protective barrier around their Gatling cannons. TheMista appears outnumbered, but they have the firepower. Every round of shots granting multiple knights a ticket to heaven. Vortix's command is broken. TheMista advances to a white flag. Northern France has been defeated. A major victory has been claimed for TheMista. That was a 5-star France match. What a highlight at the end there. TheMista was like, "Fwar!" And then Vortix was like, "Pow! Break down the walls." Then TheMista was like, "Ah, I'm surrounded." But then Vortix was like, "Ah, cannon shot! I'm dying." It was such a long game, and I did not think it was going to end here. But what an end it was. Anyway, there's more coming up. The war is still undecided between TheMista and Vortix. Are you prepared for the 4th match of this best of 5? If you are, then you should also join us at the Ironcast Discord before you load up that next video. Okay then, let's go. My name's Anuki. I need to resupply, so I'll see you soon.